Hi, this is Patty Stepler, and I want to welcome you back to the Revenue Revolution Part 2. Now, if you remember, in Part 1, we talked about the hamster wheel that we feel we're on, the maze that we feel stuck in. Maybe it's with doing too much at work and not having enough family time. Perhaps we're feeling that we don't have the right position or didn't find the right job or wrong occupation. Whatever it is, we feel frustrated and stuck. And so today what I want to do is to talk to you about the 3 income strategies and the 6 attributes that you will need to start your own revenue revolution. So in the first income strategy is a strategy that's used by about 95% of the population. So it's what most of us are doing. And yet it is the most ineffective way to create real wealth. And it's because we trade our time for money. And you see, as we're trading time for money, we eventually run out of time. So it's a very ineffective way. Now, just to tell you a little bit about my story, I was in that rat race. I was in that 9 to 5 type job. I had a certain amount of income that I could make. I was actually on a salary schedule. And so the first time my friend and mentor, Bob Proctor, said to me, you need to turn your annual income into monthly income, all I could think about was how crazy he was and what a crazy idea that was, because there was no possible way I could do that. You see, I was so stuck with the limitations of my own thinking. And so that's when I discovered the Revenue Revolution. And so now what I do is I help businesses and individuals to double and triple their income every year. And I actually have some people that are really close to having turned that annual income into a monthly income. And that's just very exciting. So the first thing you need to do is you have to know where you are and where you want to be. You see, if we don't have a realistic idea of exactly where our income is coming from and what we can do, and we don't have a realistic idea of where we really want to go, how are you going to know when you get there? So sometimes we have people that are called unconscious competence. My son was actually an unconscious competent in that when he was in high school, he just kept accomplishing one goal after another. And I sort of knew what he did because, you see, I studied personal development pretty much my entire adult life. And so I had an idea of what he was doing, but I didn't have all the answers. And so seeing what he did made me search for the people that could help me to find those answers. Because, you see, if you're not unconscious competent, you really can't even tell somebody what you're doing. Like, he couldn't tell anybody how he accomplished what he did. So once I learned the knowledge of what he had done and several years later told him what he had done, then it started to make more sense to him. But see, until you understand the process and have the knowledge and the awareness, nothing much will change. But if you stick with what I'm going to be teaching you, you can have that next exit being your exit to financial freedom, if that's what you want. Maybe it's, the next exit to better relationships, or maybe it's the next exit to a better job. I don't know what it is, but this process will work for whatever it is that you want. So, in keeping in mind that it's not really possible in today's world to live a complete life if you don't have money. That you think of your cell phone bill and, just having a car and, having, a place to live. We really need to have money. So we have to get away from that fixed mindset of we have and traveling with the masses, that 95% that trade time for money, and start thinking of ways to have a growth mindset and ways that we can earn money and even earn money while you're sleeping. So it takes a paradigm shift. You see, a paradigm is a group of habits that are stored deep in your subconscious mind, and they control everything about you. And one of the things they control is how much money you make, along as, everything else, like how you walk, how you interact with people. Your self-image is one of your paradigms. So to really make a shift and to have a revenue revolution, you are going to have to challenge your thinking. And you're going to have to diverge into different things. And we're going to have to disrupt some of the thinking that's been going on for years inside your head. We're going to have to make changes. Probably some of it's going to deal with technology, because you see, technology has enabled us to reach the world and make the world very small. And we're going to have to rethink how we do things. And it is going to be an evolution for your revolution. So Second strategy is using money to make money. Now, this is a strategy that works, and a fair amount of people actually do this. If you have a 401k, this is using money to make money, and this is why, if you're in your 20s, you should really start investing money into that 401k. Put as much as you can in there, because it will keep growing and the money will keep making more money. The problem is that to use this strategy effectively, you really have to have a lot of money to invest. And then, of course, there's a downturn not too many years ago that a lot of people lost money out of their 401ks. So strategy number 3 is to develop multiple sources of income. Now, multiple sources of income has been around for centuries, actually. And so it's been used by all wealthy people. Now, 3% of the population use this strategy, and yet they earn 96% of all the money. And sometimes people think it's so unfair that they have this money. But you know what? The good news is you too can develop multiple sources of income and live the lifestyle of your dreams. And it's the best way to become wealthy. And this is what every wealthy person has done down through the ages. So how much money do you need? That's where you have to go back to that. What lifestyle do you want to live? And then look at how much money you've earned in your best year. And you may have to get away from that job mentality like I did. You see, as long as you're stuck in that job mentality, you are limited by the resources of that job. And sometimes we end up with 2 jobs. I did. I had my full-time job and I had a part-time job, and I always thought that my part-time job would be kind of my fun money. But as my children started coming along, I ended up using that money just to pay some of the regular bills. So it's a matter of thinking outside the box. So to start the revolution, you need to have a clear goal, a very clear, concise goal, one that you can feel with all your senses. You can see it, you can hear it, you know what it sounds like, you know what it feels like, and you keep developing and crystallizing that goal daily. And then you're going to have to focus on it. You see, if you come up with that goal when you think about it once, well, nothing's going to happen. But if you focus on it every single day and you see yourself and believe, just close your eyes and meditate for a little and see that goal and get that focus developed and keep clarifying that goal and adding to it. But just doing that isn't going to get it either. You have to put action behind it. You're going to have to figure out a plan and set up a strategy to put that action behind your goal. And then you're going to have courage. Well, you're going to have courage to step out and go beyond where you are. You're going to have to get outside of your comfort zone. Step outside that box. And then you're going to have to listen to that inner voice inside of your head saying, who do you think you are that you can do this? Well, you can't accomplish that. You've never accomplished something else. And then you have to have the courage to ignore the naysayers that tell you the same thing, that you can't do it or that it's not possible for you. And you're going to have to develop that courage to put yourself into that action to go ahead and achieve that goal. And then you're going to have some knowledge. You see, just like I was missing some pieces of knowledge and awareness, you probably are missing some pieces too. So you have to get that knowledge from somebody who knows what is going on and can help you to develop your awareness and develop the knowledge of who you are and where you need to be. And then it's going to take effort, because this is not a get-rich-quick scheme by any means. It is going to take effort. To accomplish your dreams, it takes effort. And so often we see people who have achieved great things in their life, but we never see when they were in the pit. So common problems I see is people don't have a clear vision of what they want. So if you don't have a clear vision, the next best thing is to figure out what it is that you don't want, and then maybe turn some of those don't wants into something that you do want, and to develop that clear vision. So oftentimes we'll see people that instead of trying to accomplish what they really want in life, they instead decide to figure out how they can save money. Maybe clip those coupons, maybe go after that special sale, maybe take something lesser instead of what they really want. And, that's fine, except that eventually you run out of things to cut back on. And instead you start to live a lifestyle that's not what you really want. So instead of thinking limitations, we need to start thinking possibilities. Think of the things that you can do. And then Sometimes I see people trying to live frugally, which is wonderful, but you miss out on a lot of opportunities when you're always trying to pinch that penny. So we have to start thinking of more and not less. So we all have 24 hours in a day, and I want you to think about how you spend yours. You see, most people work about 8 hours, and then they sleep for 8 hours, and that 8 hours in between those two, that is when you create a lifestyle. And I will see you for part 3.